Update on our potted Calamansi or Calamondin. We currently have four. Two of them got root rot the past 2 years. We used to have six, and looks like one is not doing too good. So let's take a look at them real quick. We have two types that are kind of shrubbing. So I don't know enough about Calamondin variety. They're all taste the same to me. So, but you can kind of tell right here, kind of like dwarf version versus upright version. So this one is probably our first one in the hobby farm. This is probably 5 years old, and it's quite productive. So it just finished flowering, and we've been harvesting them every day, almost whenever we need to use them for our dipping sauce. The fruit is kind of big, so, and we harvest this while green, yellow also doesn't matter. They just have strong tart flavor when they're still green. But like I said, it just finished flowering, and you can tell right here there's some tiny ones, and we're getting new growth, so that would flower also as soon as it's probably around this size. It's going to start flowering. There's still flowers right here, and it's loaded. Like I said, we've been harvesting these. There's probably 100 fruits or more just on this shrub like one. Then we have two that are kind of erect. This one, I salvaged it. It's starting to have root rot. I repotted it, put some citrus mix, a lot looser, less dense soil. And this is from when it's root rotting, remnants of it. But it's recovering. You still have some of the old kind of dying leaves. But it has several new growth. It's flowering, and it has several fruits. Not as big as the other one, but it's alive. There's some new growth right there. All right, so this one will make it. And this is the other one that are similar to it. This one is quite loaded as well. We harvested this a lot because it's still flowering. Good size. Right here. And some of them are starting to turn. Right there. And it's still flowering. And it has a lot of baby fruits. Right here. So the other one that's kind of like shrub, it's this one here. It was doing well, and then summer happens and I kind of ignored them and just kind of noticed it's curling. And with this heat, so this pot I need to recheck, make sure the bottom is draining well. We do water them a lot summer because after a few days. So I'm gonna check, probably add some more holes in there, probably in the middle section instead of just out here. So typical kind of root rot. It looks like it's underwater. That's not the case. And you can tell right here, yeah, that it's the roots are struggling. So I might have to trim a lot of the leaves right here and take out all these fruits also, so that it can recover. So I'm gonna drill some holes at the bottom, put a lot more. So that's the thing with citrus, once they're, if you pot them, they're susceptible to root rot. They don't like wet feet. That's why you also have to fertilize them a lot, because of that cyclical issue of well draining. So when you drain them, you drain a lot of the nutrients also. So you got to keep feeding them. These are all organic feed. I just use citrus stone, organic. seems to work. I might even push for more fruits. I bought some phosphorus, organic phosphorus, that I'm gonna supplement them with. We bring them inside during the winter, so it doesn't matter. They flower in the winter. They're self-fertile. You still get fruits by spring. When you take them out, they're loaded already with flowers, and they smell great. All right, so let's do kind of like a quick comparison. You can see the leaf curl, and it looks so sad right here. It looks like it's not getting water. That's what it looks like, but that's not the case. That's like typical sign of root rot. All right, and these are the erect tall one. And I think the erect tall one are grafted. You can see the graft line right there. I remember this too when we got them. There is no graft line. They're like on their own stock. There might have been air layered. They're definitely not seedling because they fruited right away. So if you plant citrus as a seed, you might not even get fruit, or even if you did, it'll take about 5 to 7 years before you get fruit. I mean, you'll get a healthy looking citrus plant, but and you know this, if you plant one, you're wondering why it's not fruiting, and you're adding some fertilizer and all that's not happening. It's just that when it's grafted or air layered, that is coming from a mature citrus tree that's already fruiting. So it's just kind of like you cut off a limb of an old tree that's fruiting already, and you rooted it. That's why it's ready to fruit. And we have a pollinizer right here. And other added bonus of citrus, the fragrant flower. It's amazing. It smells like jasmine. All right, so I'm not a Calamansi, Calamondin expert, but these two are definitely grafted. You can see the graft line on both. And these two are not. They don't have any graft line. Same thing with this. It's hard to tell right there, but there's no graft line. So that's why I always clear their base. I always expose roots. This just got hidden because they were watered yesterday, but typically I let them like that. I don't want any of this to rot, so I always pull this away whenever I get a chance. So you can see from my other citrus that their roots quite exposed, especially the big ones. I know it's a Calamondin or the big ones. I have to move them here, and now I can't even get to them, but I just want to show you I always expose the roots, like right that one right there, and here you can tell right there. So I don't want that base rotting at some capacity. So when you water them, a lot of the mulch on top get kind of splash around. So after I water them, usually it's just been so hot, I usually expose that. All right, so I'm gonna drill a lot more holes on this one, and I'm gonna skip watering this for a bit, let it all dry out, and hopefully it'll recover, and we'll do an update on that. So this is our Calamondin. They're doing good except for that one. We need to add more Calamondin because we use this quite a lot. So this is how big and plump they are. They turn yellow, and citrus are like a refrigerator. They hang on to their fruit until you're ready to harvest them. If you don't mind harvesting them as yellow. I mean, just to prove my point here, this is my sweet kumquat. I forgot to harvest one. It's still hanging to it. This is like a year old, more than a year old fruit hanging in there. As you can see, it has the second cycle already, so you can just leave them in there. All right, let me get going and drill some holes.